Okay, the chair sees a quorum, so let's go ahead and get to Thursday, June.
This conference will now be recorded.
Okay, let me start over. Just started the recording. The chair sees a quorum, so let's get the Thursday, June 1st, 2023 meeting called to order. And the first thing on the agenda is the approval of minutes. I've read through the minutes and I've got one change I would like to make. And that change is going to be on page 7, dealing with permit 65, where in the minutes it says the commission permitted attorney Afton to speak against the renewing the permit. I'd like to change that. I don't really know how to word it, but the commission didn't allow attorney Afton to speak. Attorney Afton spoke without being recognized, and a point of order was called. Council, is there anything else that we need to add to that?
I think that's perfect.
Okay. That's one amendment I would like to make to the minutes. Commissioners, do you have any other amendments that you'd like to make?
I had a couple of amendments that I believe have already been included. I let Mr. Olson and Mr. Leibovich know of them earlier today. I'm sorry, I don't have them in front of me. Do you have them? Thank you. I had asked that the minutes reflect that I had advised the MNC that its function in renewing the permit application is ministerial, and it was not a time to receive public comment. And Mr. Olson graciously included that under subpart A, permit renewals. I think that was my only correction. Was there another one? 7. Oh, I'm sorry, there was another correction. Under cultivation facilities, permit number 65, I had asked that the minutes be amended to state that Senior Assistant Attorney General Jordan Broyles indicated the Arkansas Supreme Court had issued a stay of the revocation, and the matter is pending a decision from that court.
Is that in this version or is that something else?
No, it's already added.
Okay.
Therefore, Chairman, I would recommend that when you entertain a motion, it be to accept the minutes as amended.
Okay, and I'll go ahead and make the motion that we accept the minutes as amended.
I'll second.
We have a motion on the table and a second to approve the minutes as amended. All in favor, say aye. Aye. Minutes have been approved. All right, let's go down to, let's introduce our new staff attorney, Julie Chase.
Thanks. Hi. Good evening. My name is Julie Chase. I'm an Assistant Attorney General, and I work in the State Agencies Division of the Arkansas Attorney General's Office, and I am the new legal counsel for the Medical Marijuana Commission. And I didn't get a chance to introduce myself at the last meeting, and so I asked to be put on the agenda so that I could do that. I just wanted to state that I have been working for the Attorney General for the past 9 years, exclusively representing state boards and commissions. We offer legal counsel to state boards and commissions by state law. I also wanted to take the opportunity to reiterate a statement I made in the last meeting, and that is, again, the function of the commission today with regard to the 2 permit renewal applications, license number 338 and license number 65, is a ministerial function that you're performing today. these permit applications would not be on your agenda if the staff had not already fully vetted all of the documents that were submitted in support of the renewal. When I say this is a rubber stamp, I don't mean that in a negative way. I mean that the staff has affirmed that everything is in the packet, the renewals are in order, and it's for you to approve what the staff has presented to you today. There's nothing in the law that, this is not a discretionary function of the board. The only reason for you to not approve a renewal would be if there were an incomplete application presented to you today. Last month, I reviewed every application. There was not one single document missing. This month, I've done the same thing. There's not one single document missing. So I just respectfully request that the commission approve those two permit renewal applications. And finally, I would like to address a letter that you received dated May 31st from Mr. Mediza Dagan. This is a highly unusual and highly unprofessional piece of correspondence that you received from Mr. Mediza Dagan. He knows that I represent this commission. He did not provide me a copy in advance. It is impermissible for an attorney to talk to another attorney as a client without the knowledge of that attorney. What I'm saying to you is that he sent you an impermissible piece of correspondence without notifying your attorney of what he was doing. That is highly unprofessional and highly unusual. It is a violation of the supersedis that was put in place by the Arkansas Supreme Court if you do not act and renew permit 65. The supersedis means that the status quo has to be maintained. Mr. Storm Nolan has been permitted by the Arkansas Supreme Court to continue his cultivation operation. In order to maintain the status quo, his permit, and for him to continue to lawfully operate, his permit must be approved today. Or this body, you as individual commissioners, may face a contempt charge before the Arkansas Supreme Court. I asked Mr. Mediza Dagan not to send the correspondence to you. He did it anyway. He's advising you in this letter to fire me and to fire Ms. Broyles as your legal counsel. By law, we are bound to represent this body. He contacted you directly, even though he knows that you're represented by me in these administrative proceedings and by Ms. Broyles in the pending litigation, and that is improper. I just want to remind you that under the open meeting requirements of the Arkansas Freedom of Information Act, you are to make your decisions in this room in a public meeting after proper notice is given to the public based on the information that is presented to you in your packets or in the actual meeting. What Mr. Mediza Dagan has presented to you is impermissible ex parte communication. As commissioners, you are not lobbyists you are not legislators to be lobbied. You sit as a judge and jury over the applications that are submitted to you. This is a quasi-judicial administrative proceeding. And what that means is no one is allowed to contact you by email, by phone, by fax, by U.S. snail mail, out in the hall before a meeting, on the phone on your way home this evening, about any pending matter that is before this commission for a decision. That is impermissible. It's analogous to a situation where if you are involved in a court proceeding, I'm not talking about the court proceeding that's pending now. I'm talking about you're getting a divorce and you're down at the courthouse down on Markham. And your wife's attorney goes and tries to have a conversation with the judge outside of the courtroom about the decision that your wife's attorney wants that judge to make in your divorce case. When someone seeks to influence you outside of a public meeting, it's impermissible ex parte communication. And I just wanted to remind you of that, because I'm sure that people call you all the time. Oh, my friend so-and-so's got an application pending. Sure wish you'd vote for it. You need to stop and say, if you've got a friend in front of the commission and you want me to be able to vote on it, I gotta hang up the phone right now, or I'm gonna have to recuse from consideration. You're just gonna have to trust me to look at what's presented and make the right decision. And that's what I'm asking you to do today. Thank you.
Okay, commissioners, do you have any questions? Let's move on down to the transfer of applications. And on item number 1, I'm going to recuse on it.
Okay. Okay, first we've got license number 117, the Greenery transfer.
Permit number 117, the Greenery is a dispensary. They are requesting a transfer of this dispensary facility from 4520 Phoenix Avenue, Fort Smith, Arkansas to 4410 Phoenix Avenue, Fort Smith, Arkansas. This is a transfer within the same city, county, and zip code. ABC has reviewed and the submitted documentation and has received all the required documentation.
Okay, commissioners, are there any questions or discussion on this matter? Hearing none, I'll entertain a motion.
Motion to approve license number 117.
I'll second. We have a motion and a second. All in favor, say aye.
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 Motion carries.
Okay, let's move on down to license number 29 on the transfer of location.
License number 29, EDA Full Spectrum is a dispensary. They're requesting to transfer its location from Brooklyn, Arkansas, approximately 10 miles south to Jonesboro, Arkansas. ABC has reviewed the submitted application and received the required documentation, proof that the proposed location of the dispensary is at least 1,500 feet from a public private school, church, daycare, or facility for individuals with developmental disabilities.
Commissioners, any questions, comments? Seeing none, entertain a motion.
I could maybe speak on behalf of Rob as opposed to transfer.
Okay,
It'll be brief,
a lot shorter than last time.
I promise you.
We're gonna have, if I do that, are we gonna have? Okay. Come on.
And it will be brief. I thank y'all for taking the time. I know your time is valuable. Annie Deborah, representing Crop, opposition to transfer of location. Just wanted to reemphasize I made numerous arguments last time. And this time I'm going to leave it at one. And it's the issue of whether the transfer of location would violate a MMC rule. Our position is that it would, with respect to the rule that prohibits a dispensary from being within 1,500 feet of a school, church, or facility for people with developmental disabilities. The issue, as you all know, is the Families Inc. location that's within 860 feet of the proposed location for the dispensary. That CEO, Mark Thurman, stated to the investigator, Mr. Platt, that although they did not treat people with developmental disabilities, many of the people there that they did treat for behavioral disturbance also had developmental disabilities. He said it was oftentimes. So we have at this location people with developmental disabilities. We also have children at that location that are being treated, children with developmental disabilities that are being treated at the location. And I would ask commissioners that y'all look at the map that was provided by Investigator Platt. If you look at that map, and I have copies here if you would like to look at it as well, Families Inc. is just down the street. And we think about 860 feet. What does that mean? In one of the maps that is attached to the investigation report, we see it's a Google Maps, and it indicates that it's showing how far the distance is by walking That's how close it is. And so we have a rule here that's an important rule. The intent of the rule is to keep medical marijuana dispensaries away from facilities or locations where children are present, away from facilities or locations where people have developmental disabilities. That is the intent. And to allow this change of location will eviscerate the intent of that rule. I think it would also set a dangerous precedent for entities in the future to be able to be close to such facilities. When we talk about violating this rule or bending the rule, I think it's a violation at the very least. It would be bending it. Question is, to what end? Why would the commission do so? The reasons that are set forth by NEA Full Spectrum is that they are losing money to Missouri. That just does not bear out when you look at the number of pounds of medical marijuana that NEA Full Spectrum is selling each month. In fact, if you look at the month of April 2023, the number of pounds they sold actually increased. And from February 2023, it went up by over 10 pounds. And this move will not get them a sufficient or a substantial distance from the closest medical marijuana dispensary in Missouri. And so for those reasons, we would ask that this transfer and location request be denied, as well as for the reasons that we put forth at the last commission meeting and at the commission meeting before that. With that, no other comment.
Okay. Let me ask staff, is this going to be an issue on our council? Is this going to be an issue on, is it a statute that, or is it just in our rules that it's going to be 1,500 feet? I thought it's 1,000 feet, not that wrong. But because I thought last meeting we said that it was fully vetted and everything was fine.
As far as the report that the investigator prepared, his conclusion was that it did not, that the relocation did not violate the statute.
Okay,
I'm sorry, the rule.
the rule.
If I may state, I mean, that's an investigation done by an investigator. I think the purpose of this commission is to review the language of your rules and what that language requires. This is not a situation of a rubber stamp. This is consideration by this commission when looking at the rules. And I think when we look at that rule and we look at this facility, there's room there when you look at the intent of the rule to determine that allowing the change in location could violate, or at the very least, bend this rule and open the door for other facilities to be closed to facilities like this one, where children and people with developmental disabilities congregate for treatment.
Do we have Commissioner Thomas on? Commissioner Thomas, are you on?
Yes, I'm on.
Okay. Commissioners, any comments, questions?
I have a comment, I guess. One of my concerns here is, I guess, the precedence of allowing the multiple moves. In this case, they were granted the original license in the original location, and before opening, they changed location and they're changing again. We as a commission are supposed to determine where the best locations are. And I think in allowing the jumping back and forth and the moving around, it's kind of counteractive to what we're trying to do as a commission and where we're allowing the dispensaries and allowing the licenses to be.
Commissioners, any more discussion? Seeing none, what's the will of the committee?
Commissioner Miller, I'd like to make a recommendation that we not approve the change of location.
Okay. So was that a motion, Commissioner Thomas, or you just,
I can make a motion if that was not taken out of the motion.
no? Well, do we, seeing no action taken, no motion made? Oh, okay, I couldn't find it here. Commissioner Thomas, would you go ahead and, turn that into a motion?
Yes, sir. I'd like to make a motion that we not approve the change of location. And I'm not specific on the number here, but
Okay, we have a motion on the table to not approve, license number 29 for a change of location.
yes.
Is there a second? Seeing no second, that motion dies for a lack of motion. So, back to reconsidering it. Anybody want to make a motion?
Make a motion to approve the transfer application license number 29.
All right, we have a motion on the table to approve the transfer of location on license number 29.
I'll second.
We have a motion on the table and a second to approve the transfer, license 29. All in favor, say aye.
Aye. Aye.
Aye. The transfer of location for license 29 has been approved.
Thank you, Commissioners.
All right, the next on the list is permit renewal application license number 338.
License number 338, Morph Hemp LLC, doing business as Morph Cannabis Company. This is a processor. The listed permittee is Sean Keefe. Based on a review, the submitted renewal application, ABC has received the required documentation that includes the Secretary of State Certificate of Good Standing, tax clearance, lease amendments, and the organizational chart.
Commissioners, any comments, questions? Well, this is the one that we didn't get on the agenda last time, correct?
That's correct.
Seeing no questions or comments, I'll entertain a motion.
Motion to approve the renewal application for license number 338.
I'll second.
We have a motion on the table, second to approve the permanent renewal application for license number 338. All in favor, say aye.
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 Permit renewal has been approved. All right, let's go down to license number 65.
License number 65, River Valley Production LLC, doing business as River Valley Relief Cultivation. The listed permittee is Bennett Storm Scott Nolan II. And based on a review, the submitted renewal application, ABC has received the required documentation. That includes a completed application, the Secretary of State Certificate of Good Standing, tax clearance letters, lease amendments, and the organizational chart.
All right, commissioners, any questions, comments? Seeing none, what's the will of the committee?
I'll make a motion to approve the permanent renewal for license number 65.
I'll second. We have a motion on the table and a second to approve the permit renewal applications for license number 65. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
No. All opposed? No. Motion carries. Permit renewal, license number 65 has been approved. All right, let's go down to administrative matters.
Which I've studied the next meeting. In July.
Commissioners, our next meeting is July 8th. Do you guys want to push it back a week since that's going to be?
July 8th is a Saturday.
Yeah, July 6th. You want to, do you guys want to push it back a week to July 13th? That could be. Commissioner Thomas? Commissioner Motley?
I would prefer July 13th.
Okay.
I would as well.
Okay, we'll set the next meeting July 13th, same time, 4:30. Commissioners, any other comments, questions? Seeing none, meeting's adjourned.
This conference is no longer being recorded.